Hello everyone, hope you're doing good and welcome back to my channel. Today we are at problem of the day 20 for the April month Leetcode challenge 2024, right? And we have a very good question here. And by the way, like if you have solved this, like if you are seeing this question now and if you have not solved the previous 2 days question, okay, that is what I meant to say is Leetcode challenge, that is day 18 and day 19 questions, okay, for this April month 2024. If you have not solved them, please do go back, and try to solve this question, because this question is also revolving around that topic, okay. They were slightly on the easier side and this is slightly on the harder side. So if you have solved these questions, you will definitely find it easier, at least to begin with, okay, and that's what I can say for sure. And if you are seeing this question now, definitely you can give it a try. But remember this one thing, like this is a part of a series of question, and you are jumping in between that part, right? So that is the idea here is, if you solve from the very basic level of question of this topic, then it will be much easier for you. So my suggestion will be, go back and check the day 18 and day 19 questions and then come back to this question, okay. But anyway, let me begin this video. So this particular question, okay, let me directly jump the question. 1 and 9 to find out groups of farmland, okay. As you can see, the number 1, okay, is actually showing the farmland to us, okay. So I will just tell you the exact idea of the question, okay. Let me not go into the terminology used in this question. The number which are seeing here, 1, okay, they particularly, they represent a kind of land, okay, which we are interested in this case, okay. What we have to do, so idea here is, we'll have to return the coordinates of those lands, okay. That is a group of those. For example, let's say this particular land, okay, the one which is seeing in the right bottom, okay, this forms one such land, okay. Similarly, this particular one, okay, which is in the 0, 0 index, forms one such land. The idea here is, such lands, can, what we are trying to say is, if they are, diagonally adjacent to each other, that is, let us say, horizontally and vertically, okay, the only these two directions, if a particular index which is having 1 is adjacent to another index which is having 1, then they are part of the same group, okay. Otherwise they are part of a different group. So what I want to say is, see here, the index 0, 0 in this case, is not having any 1 right of it or bottom of it. So that is why it is not, it is, as a group in itself, okay. It is not part of any other group. Similarly, if you see the 1, okay, in the index 1, 1, okay, this forms the leftmost part, that is the top left part of a group, okay. So what we have to do is, we'll have to consider this particular as the thing as one group, and this particular thing at the top left as the second group, okay. So now what have we written, see this part here, we are interested in two indices in this particular groups, okay. So what are those two indices, I will let you know. See here, for example, if you consider this particular group, okay, which is starting from index 1, 1, okay, 1, 1, and adding at index 2, 2, okay, that is the one. Now try to see here, in this particular thing, I am interested in only two indices. What are those two indices? That is, please note it out somewhere, left top index and the bottom right index. So what are they? In this case, it is 1, 1 and 2, 2. So that is what we have to return. This part represents the left top index of this group, and this part represents the bottom right index of this group, okay. That is the, in you can say, uh, index which has a value 1 and is part of this group, and is the, most bottom, that is the bottom rightmost part of this particular group is this index, okay, and this one. And for this particular one, okay, you can see this doesn't have any other ones, right? So it is a group in itself. So in this case, the top left element, and that is the top left index, and the bottom left index, top left index and the bottom right index are all going to be the same. In this case, it is 0, 0 and 0, 0. I hope you understood this something. Okay, anyway, I will give you the question link. You can also go through it, but the idea here is very, very simple. That's what they're saying. Land can be represented by a coordinate system where the top left corner of the land is 0, 0, and the bottom right corner of the land is -1, -1, and -1. Okay. Find the coordinates of the top left and the bottom right corner of each group from. So this is the question actually, friends. This is the exact statement which they are quoting. Okay. We have to find the top left index and the bottom right index. Okay. As simple as that. A group of farmland with, yeah, and this is the, what is a group, the definition of that. A group of farmland with the top left corner at R1 and C1 and the bottom right corner at R2 and C2 is represented by 4 length array. This is the one, okay. So each of these 4 things are representing a single group, as simple as that, okay. So yeah, that's what it is. So it's going to be a rectangular region, and it won't be any other, remember, rectangle by means it can be a square or a rectangle. It can never be of something like a triangle or something like that. That's what they are guaranteeing, okay. And I've already mentioned what is the adjacency factor which we are using. That's what they mean. Meaning farmland in one group. Yeah, this is the one. Farmland in one group is not, yeah. Meaning farmland in one group is not four direction adjacent to another farmland in a different group. Okay. So they are talking about this four directionally adjacent factor. Okay. So all elements in this particular group will be 4 direction adjacent. That means we are not considering the diagonally adjacent concept here. So let me go and show you what I have coded the solution for this. It's very, very simple. Let me go through it. It's very, very simple. If you have seen my past solutions, I'm sure that you will be aware of these things. First part is the discovery of ones. Okay, whenever we see a one, only then we'll start exploring what are the other members of this particular group. Okay, first of all, what we'll do, we'll go through each of these indices, and then if land of I comma j is equal to 1, only then we will begin our search. Okay, what we'll do, first of all, in the answer I'm going to append 4. That is, I'm going to append a array which will having 4 elements. In this case, initially it will have I comma j and I comma j. Okay, because both the top left index and the bottom right index at this moment is going to be this only. Okay, and then I will start the function fncz and passing the parameter ing. In this function, what I will do, it's again simple. See, in this function I will be exploring what are the all elements in this group. Okay, so you can see this part of the function deals with that. I will be recursively calling this function on the 4 indices which are adjacent to this particular index. Okay, that's I plus 1j, ij plus 1, I minus 1j, and ij minus 1. That we will be doing. And what is the base condition now? The base condition will be if I is not in this range, that is if I is outside of the range of the current board, or j is not in this range, and at the same time if land of I comma j is equal to 0 to 0. That means it cannot be member, right? It is 0, so it is not a member of this particular group. In this case, simply return it. Okay, if that's not the case, that is we have found a valid adjacent member of the same group. What we'll do, we'll make its value as 0, so that we do not come back to it again, right? As simple as that. Remember this condition there, right? So ensuring this, that we do not come back to this again, we are doing this. Okay, because remember we are doing 4 direction adjacent, right? So there is a possibility that we will be coming back to this. In my last question, if you see, I have used a uh, I'm using a visited set previously in the last question, but in this case, I'm simply making it as a 0. This helps me save a data structure. I'm not using any set data structure here now. Okay, this is one such tricky idea. Next, what I'm doing, see, I have to find the top left index and the bottom right index. So for that, what I'm doing here, let us see. Okay, first condition is this. Okay, first try to understand this factor. If you understand this, you will be following the further our conditions. Okay, what is this? If my I, okay, what is the I? I is passed to this, right? If my I is less than, okay, the zeroth index of the array. Okay, see, this is the zeroth index, right? See, remember this is I, this is an j, right? Similarly, this is a I and this is a j, right? So if my I is less than this and my j is less than this, okay, that means I have found a possibly top left element, right? This is what I'm doing. If I is less than zeroth element of my last added answer, see, answer of I minus 1 means the last added answer. What is the last added answer? This is the last added answer, right? So if the zeroth element of my answer, let's say the last element of my answer is going going to be greater than the current I, and same condition for j. In that case, what I will be doing, I will be changing answer of minus 1 comma 0 and answer of minus 1 comma 1 as I and j. Okay, there can be other conditions also. For example, let us say I and, that is this I and this particular index are same. Okay, let us say in that case, if my current j is less than this, then again I can do that. Okay, if my j is still less than this, I can obviously do this again. Okay, same thing here also. If my j is equal, okay, if my j is still equal but I is less than that, still I can do this condition. Okay, still I can do this condition. Okay, this is for finding the top left. Okay, this is for finding the top left. Okay, let me make it a comment here. Okay, for finding top left index, and the next below that we are finding the bottom right index. Okay, yeah. So the same thing we are using. In this case, remember, we use the less than symbol. In this case, we'll use the greater than symbol. If my current I is greater than, okay, but remember one more thing. Here we are comparing the zeroth element and the first element of the answer of minus 1. Here we'll be comparing the second index and the third index of answer of minus 1. That is these two index now. Okay, we will be now dealing with these two index. Previously, we had dealt with these two index. Now we'll be dealing with these two index. Okay, I hope you are making sense now. So if my I is greater than the index 2 of last element added, or and by the way it will be and initially, or and j is greater than the third index of last added element. In this case again, feel free to swap them. Okay, the other cases can be, this or condition can be like if I is still same but j is greater. In this case also do that. Okay, and the other condition can be, okay, j is same but I is still greater. In that case also do it. Okay, and that's what we're doing it. Okay, so what we're doing, we are updating the leftmost, that is the top left index, and the bottom right index at each instance while we are discovering the other elements in this particular group. Okay, this is for discovery of the other elements in this group, and this is for updating the leftmost, top leftmost, and the bottom rightmost index. As simple as that. Once we are done with everything, that means every element will now be 0, and we'll be simply returning it by this condition. Okay. So once we come out of this for loop, still this for loop will continue, and we'll be trying to find the next groups. Okay, next groups available. Okay, this is the basic idea. Once they are there, remember everything we are updating in my answer. Okay, everything we are updating in my answer. This is where I'm adding them. Okay, and this, just a second, this is where I'm adding them. Okay, and this is where I am manipulating them. Okay, after being added, this is where I am manipulating them, and finally I'm writing the answer. So let me quickly run this code and show it to you how it works. As you can see, this is clearing all the test cases. This was a one such test case. Remember, this is not part of your initial, automated run. So I will give you this test case maybe. So in this test case, you can see what is happening is, two of the elements are, on the same row. Okay, they are on the same row. Remember, this is the reason why I have included these conditions. If I is equal and still j is less than, in that case also we will have to do. Same is the condition here. If I is equal and j is greater, still we will have to do. This condition will work because we are having both the leftmost and the leftmost, top leftmost and the bottom rightmost on the same row. Okay, for this kind of edge cases we'll have those conditions. Okay, I will give you this condition also in the comment section. You can go through this, and if you have written a code for yourself, you can definitely try this edge condition once before submitting your code. Okay, so yeah, friend, that was all for today. This was slightly on the trickier side. I'm definitely expecting it to be, I'm sure that you won't be understanding in the first go, because there are so many and odd conditions here. But take this code, try to understand this question once again, try to solve this, and if you're not able to see this code again, remember, in my video I have tried to explain each and everything in a very, very detailed way. I'm sure in the first go you won't understand it, but I'm sure that after going through my code, you will definitely understand what I'm doing, because it will make sense to you, right? Come back to this video after going through this code, and it will start making sense what I've done here, right? So yeah, fun, that was all for today. If you like my efforts, please do consider subscribing to my channel. It really gives a lot of motivation to continue further, and it will be something which is beneficial for both of us, right? For you also, you are getting different ideas and different solutions. At the same time, for me also, that I'm getting a reason to make such, solutions and share it with you. So yeah, fun, that was all for today. See you tomorrow. Thanks a lot.